Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Today, we are going to dig into how the good list has changed over the last several years. And by good list, I mean the sort of mental list that Americans carry around that allows them to decide when they are indeed putting their wallet where their values are, who are the good companies to buy from and who are the companies to avoid. So let's dig in and let's level set by looking at exactly what it is we're tracking and exactly what it is we're talking about. So for the last decade or so, we have asked people the question, can you think of a time when you have purchased or not purchased a product or brand from a manufacturer because of its environmental or social record? And then for everybody who says yes, we say, great, name the product or brand. And as you can see from 2009 to 2014, that's where the math fell apart. Once we asked them to cough up the example of a product or brand unaided, most people couldn't. And so the math worked out to about 6 or 7% of the population who could say, yes, I've exhibited that behavior. I have purchased or not purchased a product based on the environmental or social record of the manufacturer. And then you see in 2015, the number jumped like so much that we thought we had bad data. Then it jumped again. So we thought, okay, maybe we don't have bad data. Then it went down and went up, it went down and went up. That is what change looks like, my friends. So I thought, let's look at the word clouds of who are the companies that were named. When we said, great, name a brand, who are the companies that were named and how has that changed? And in some cases not changed over the last several years. And what can we learn from that? So let's time travel back to 2013. Now, one thing is we have changed the way we ask the question a little bit, unfortunately. So it's not exactly apples to apples, but there are definitely some takeaways here. So in 2013, the way we asked the question was, can you think of a product that you have purchased or not purchased based on the environmental or social record of the manufacturer? And we got a lot of products, and then mixed in with the products were some brands. So this is just the brand list. And, not surprisingly, you see brands that carved out a space for themselves in sustainability with a real environmentally friendly value proposition that they were leaning into early on. So 7th Gen, SC Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. And then in 2014, you see it shift up a little bit. A few more players get added to the list, but still a lot of the dominant players that you think of that early days. Clorox carved out a leadership position here early on. So did 7th Generation. And cleaning products, no surprise, because health and concerns about health and chemical content really have driven the sustainability movement from the very beginning. Then in 2015, this is where everything explodes. And it's like consumers got the memo that, oh, yeah, sustainability. I buy from good companies. Great. I'm doing that. So the takeaway here is, if you closely examine this list, absolutely, there are leaders who deserve to be here. And there are some who don't deserve to be here. So this is when Americans started giving some companies a little more credit than they deserved. And what you notice on this list is, with the exception of GE and Energy Star, it's a lot of consumables, but basically it's everybody and their brother and sister. Then by 2016, more of the same, everybody but their brother and sister. So this is when we're in the mojo of, oh, green is cool. Yeah, I'm really starting to pay attention to that. Yeah, I'm really starting to behave that way. Oh, yeah, of course I can name a brand that I've purchased because they're awesome. Again, not a lot of depth to consumer thinking here, but it does change over time. As the list begins to shrink, it's because people are getting smarter about, is that really a green company or not a green company? They're getting smarter and smarter, which means their list gets a little more discriminating and a little tighter. But one of the things you see consistently over the course of several years is 7th Gen. You see brands like GE, labels like Energy Star continue to populate the list. By 2018, we start to expand again a little bit. If you examine the list closely over the last several years, you do begin to see more and more credibility. So the brands that are getting named do indeed deserve to be here. Then in May of 2020, in the height of the pandemic, we saw the list shrink a lot. 7th Generation still being the predominant player. And then in January of this year, we asked the question two ways. Hey, can you think of a brand or a product you've chosen because of the environmental record of the manufacturer? And this is the list we get. So this is environment. But then look what happens when we ask the same question, only insert the word social, environmental or social record of the manufacturer. And you see things change pretty dramatically. Like 7th Generation all but disappears and social really rises to the top. That's because, my friends, social matters more than environment in the rock, paper, scissors game of value propositioning around sustainability. Social trumps environment right now in the minds of the consumer. So, want to learn more about how to get your company on the good list? Just click the link here and you can go to my GreenBiz presentation and learn more.